Who is the absolute strongest Avenger? Every time this question comes up, it turns into a battlefield. Hulk fans scream Hulk smash, while Thor fans flex their godlike arguments. Captain Marvel supporters insist she's the most powerful, and Scarlet Witch fans just sit there smiling because they know their girl can rewrite reality. But who actually wins? We're breaking it down scientifically, using strength, durability, speed, intelligence, and actual fight history. And if you're already getting mad, just wait, because by the end, you will be commenting. Let's start with the most obvious factor of power. Hulk is designed to be the strongest. The angrier he gets, the more unstoppable he becomes. In Avengers 2012, he punched a giant alien so hard it went flying. In Thor, Ragnarok, he sent Fenris, a literal building-sized wolf, crashing into the sea. And in Endgame, he held up an entire building while injured. But for all that strength, the one moment that changed everything was Thanos folding him in Infinity War in under 30 seconds. No Power Stone, no tricks, just hands, and Hulk never even tried to fight him again. If brute strength means winning fights, then that was a major L. Thor, on the other hand, is always strong. He doesn't need anger to power up. In Infinity War, he took the full force of a neutron star, something hotter than the sun, and still walked it off. In Ragnarok, he obliterated Hela's entire army without his hammer. And in Endgame, he crushed Thanos' wrist one-handed. More importantly, let's not forget Ragnarok. Thor fought Hulk, and despite Grandmother cheating, Thor had the upper hand. Captain Marvel is often hyped as the strongest, and she's undeniably powerful. She flew through an entire spaceship like it was nothing, and in Endgame, Thanos headbutted her, and she didn't even blink. But here's where things get tricky. Thanos punched her once with the Power Stone, and she was done. If she were truly the strongest, that wouldn't have happened. So who wins? Hulk has the potential, but potential doesn't mean victories. Captain Marvel is strong, but she lost when it mattered. Thor has the feats and the wins. Hulk is known for his near invincibility. He's been blasted by warships, fallen from space, and walked away like it was nothing. His healing factor is legendary in the comics. He survived nuclear explosions, cosmic-level attacks, and even regenerated from being nearly destroyed. But if we're being honest, the MCU has nerfed Hulk significantly. His Infinity War beatdown was a wake-up call. Thanos dismantled him without even using the Power Stone, and Hulk never recovered fast enough to get back in the fight. Even in Endgame, despite his insane durability, he was left permanently injured after using the Infinity Gauntlet, something that Thor and Thanos both shrug off. His one-sun-matched resilience doesn't seem as impressive anymore. Thor, on the other hand, has repeatedly survived the impossible. This is the guy who took a full-force neutron star blast in Infinity War, an attack that should have vaporized anything in existence, and walked it off like a mild inconvenience. He got stabbed in the chest by Thanos but still kept fighting. In Love and Thunder, he was electrocuted by Zeus, an attack that should have crippled him, but he literally laughed it off. The man doesn't just survive, he keeps winning. He takes god-level damage and keeps coming back stronger, proving that his Asgardian durability might just be the highest in the MCU. Then there's Captain Marvel. There's no denying she's one of the most durable heroes in the MCU. She flies through spaceships like they're made of paper, shrugs off explosions, and took a punch from Thanos without flinching. But here's the issue: we've never seen her take a truly universe-ending attack and survive. Thor has endured planetary-level destruction. Hulk has been through hell and back. But Captain Marvel? Her durability is impressive, but it hasn't been tested to the same extent. At the end of the day, she's still human at her core, which means she has limits. Thor takes this round, hands down. He isn't just tough, he's a survivor in every sense of the word. Hulk moves like a slow-moving tank. He's strong, but if you see him coming, you can dodge him. Thor is fast when flying, but on foot, he's more of a brute force brawler. Captain Marvel, however, flies at faster than light speeds. If we're talking about pure movement, she easily wins this category. Speed isn't just about movement, it's about reaction time and how fast you can land a hit. Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange don't need to move fast, they can stop enemies before they even attack. Wanda warps reality in an instant, and Strange sees every possible future before the fight even begins. If it's about raw movement, Captain Marvel wins. But if it's about who reacts the fastest, Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange might be even deadlier. Now, let's be honest, brute force alone doesn't win fights. If raw strength was all that mattered, Hulk or Thor would always come out on top. But true power isn't just about how hard you can hit. It's about how well you can strategize, adapt, and outthink your opponent. And this is where Doctor Strange and Iron Man enter the conversation. Iron Man may not have had superpowers, but he made up for it with sheer brilliance. This is the man who built a suit of armor in a cave with scraps, turned himself into one of the world's most powerful heroes, and even developed technology capable of fighting literal gods. He held his own against Thor, survived an encounter with Hulk, and went toe-to-toe with Thanos at being far beyond human capability. And let's not forget his biggest achievement: he cracked the code for time travel, something that had baffled even the greatest minds in the universe. He didn't just rely on brute force. He outsmarted his enemies at every turn. In the end, when no one else could figure out how to stop Thanos, it was Tony Stark who set the final play in motion, proving that intelligence could be just as deadly as any superpower. But if we're talking about pure intellect combined with supernatural abilities, then Doctor Strange is on another level. Unlike Stark, who relied on technology, Strange mastered the very fabric of reality. He didn't just predict battles, he saw the future itself, analyzing millions of possible outcomes in an instant. While the Avengers fought Thanos with brute force, Strange was playing a different game altogether, setting up the only scenario where they could win. Without him, Tony Stark wouldn't have known when to act, Thor wouldn't have known where to strike, and the entire battle could have been lost before it even began. Thor might be a battle genius, but his strategic thinking is based on experience, not foresight. He's an incredible warrior, a natural-born leader, and an expert in combat, but when it comes to pure intellect and strategic mastery, he isn't operating on the same level as Stark or Strange. So, when we look at who the true powerhouse is in terms of intelligence, Doctor Strange stands above the rest. He doesn't just outthink his enemies, he manipulates time, reality, and probability itself to ensure he wins. While others rely on strength, Strange proves that sometimes the most powerful weapon isn't a hammer or a fist, it's the mind. This is where things get messy. Marvel doesn't actually care who is the strongest, they make whoever they need the strongest when it suits the plot. Hulk was once the unstoppable force, but after Infinity War, he got nerfed into a scientist who barely fights. Thor was an absolute god in Infinity War, nearly killing Thanos in one shot, but in Endgame, he was suddenly struggling. Captain Marvel was hyped up as the most powerful, yet she barely did anything in Endgame. Scarlet Witch was a supporting character for years, but in Multiverse of Madness, she was suddenly stronger than all the Avengers combined. Marvel doesn't have a consistent strongest Avenger, they just make someone the strongest when it's convenient. Now, here's where I'm going to trigger everyone. If we're talking physical strength, Thor wins. If we're talking overall battle power, Thor wins. If we're talking who has the most plot armor, Captain Marvel wins. If we're talking who has the most potential, Scarlet Witch could solo the Avengers. If we're talking who's the weakest despite being called the strongest, Hulk sadly takes the L. Hulk fans, I'm sorry, but after Infinity War, Marvel made him a joke. Captain Marvel fans, she's powerful, but Thanos punched her out of the fight in seconds. Scarlet Witch fans, she's insanely strong now, but she was weak for years. Thor fans, you win. He's the most consistently powerful Avenger, but let's be real, Marvel will make whoever they need the strongest when the plot requires it. So the real question is, who do you think is the strongest? Let me know in the comments, and if you're mad, good. That's what this debate is for.